Three states and Washington, D.C. are suing Google, claiming the tech giant misled consumers in order to gain access to their location data. The lawsuit claims Google lied to users about how much information it was collecting. The attorneys general of D.C., Texas, Indiana, and Washington say the company continued to record users' locations after they changed their privacy settings to prevent tracking. Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson joins me now to discuss this lawsuit. Mr. Attorney General, thanks very much for being with us. Walk us through the details of this lawsuit. What is it that you allege Google was doing?
Sure. Thanks so much for having me. So some lawsuits are complicated. This one really is not. What happened to consumers all across the country is if they did not want Google to track their whereabouts on their phone, consumers went to a location tracking part of their phone. And if you clicked, no, I don't want to be tracked, consumers thought quite reasonably they weren't being tracked. Unbeknownst to them, Google was actually still tracking them at a whole separate part of your phone that nobody would ever think to look at. Now, Google didn't just do it for the heck of it. They did it because they make money, billions of dollars, because they can get that information to advertisers who then get that information to you. So basically, any consumer who wanted to protect their location was actually still being tracked by their phone, despite their best efforts to avoid exactly that outcome.
So you've joined Washington, D.C., along with Texas and Indiana in filing this lawsuit. Why did you take this particular course of action? What are you seeking in return?
Well, a couple things. So number one, we filed this lawsuit because, candidly, we could not reach a resolution out of court with Google. They simply would not agree to the terms that we felt were necessary to protect consumers. So what we want from this lawsuit is relatively straightforward. First and foremost, Google needs to stop violating the law. If a consumer says, hey, I don't want to be tracked, and they click the button, that should be the end of it. Number two, of course, they're going to have to pay penalties, and significant penalties, for harming consumers and acting illegally in pursuit of profits for a number of years. So those are the two main things we're searching for in our lawsuit that we filed here in Washington State.
So Google is denying claims that it lied about location tracking. A spokesman for the company said, quote, the attorneys general are bringing a case based on inaccurate claims and outdated assertions about our settings. We will vigorously defend ourselves and set the record straight. What's your response to that?
Well, what I can say is I've never brought a consumer protection lawsuit against a powerful corporation that's not playing by the rules. And the response has been, hey, you know what? That Ferguson guy is right. That's never how it starts. Yet we always win. And I'm confident we'll win here. And one thing we'll show to the court is literally if you're a consumer and you went to the help page of Google, for years on their help page, they had the following notice. They said, with location history off, the places you go are no longer stored. Well, that wasn't true. That was actually false. If you went to location history and you turned it off, the places you went were still being tracked by Google. That's false. That's a violation of our Consumer Protection Act, and people value their privacy highly, and Google needs to follow the law just like everybody else.
Ultimately, what message do you hope this case sends to other big tech firms?
Yeah, what I would say is that as Attorney General of my state and Washington State, I care deeply about the privacy rights of the consumers in my state. And I don't care how powerful a corporation you are, you need to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you're going to end up in court and have to pay a lot of money and change your corporate practices. That's the way it works.
Washington State Attorney General Bob Ferguson, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.